It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're listening or watching. I hope you're doing okay today. I want to give a special shout out to all of our viewers on Holyfield Television. We're glad to be part of Holyfield TV sports programming, and we want to hear from you. Drop us an email, billy@talkinboxing. That's TALKINBOXING.com. And don't forget to download our app. It's for free. Just go to Fight. That's FITE, fight.tv/Billy C. Today's show is being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant, located on beautiful St. Simons Island in Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simons to get a decent slice of pizza. And I'm going to be heading south in about another week and a half. So if you're heading that way, stop by Sal's and have some pie with me. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by Gawk Box. What is it? Well, it can help you and it can help us. And it doesn't cost you nothing. So check that out. Visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the Gawk Box banner. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by the Turning Stone Resort and Casino in Verona, New York, and their next boxing event, which is going to be taking place on International Boxing Hall of Fame weekend, June 9th, Friday night. I'm going to be ringside for the fight card that'll be broadcast on Showtime. You need to be, too. Get yourself some tickets by visiting our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and clicking on the Turning Stone fight poster, which is on the right-hand side, so click that. Or just go to the Turning Stone box office and make sure you tell them Billy C sent you and get the Billy C discount. And finally, today's show is being brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage, The Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold, and you can literally get a copy of it right now by visiting BarnesandNoble.com or Amazon.com. Find out why we got a 5-star rating across the board. Today's show, we got coming up in a little bit, we got Boxing Hall of Famer Larry Hazard. He'll be stopping by, and of course we're going to ask him about the fight last week, Errol Spence's victory over Kell Brook. I got an email for him. I also got some emails to read here. I also want to talk a little about Adonis Stevenson. I think he's the king of duckers. I really do. I mean, people are always using that word now. Oh, this fighter ducked this one ducked that one. But Adonis Stevenson, he's the king. He's the king of duckers. And we'll talk about that. Also, an update on Tiger Woods. We'll talk about that. The WBO maintaining their number one heavyweight contender, even though he hasn't fought, pulled out of a fight. We'll talk about that. We got some sports scores. ESPN named their top 100 recognizable athletes. I got some interesting numbers for you there. And a bunch of other stuff we'll be talking about. Oh, our blast from the past, Ike Ibuchi, as per request. So all of that's coming up. But coming up right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you got to welcome the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, in his own mind, that is, Sal Rocky Senecola. Good morning, Sal.
Good morning, Bill. How are you today, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. We're sweating down here. It's down south. It's 120 degrees. Forget about it. It's warm.
Yeah, I was telling you off air that
Off air.
the weather up here was kind of chilly last night. I was in sweatshirts, man.
I can't believe it. That's amazing. It's going to be June 1st tomorrow. Where is this year going?
It's going, where in a
Going.
handbasket, But anyway, hey, Sal, I wanted to start off the show. Adonis Stevenson's fighting this weekend, and he's taking on Andres Fonfara. And I got some quotes and stuff, and obviously later in the week we'll be breaking down the fights that will be broadcast. But he made a comment, and before I get a little later in the show, we'll get to some comments from Stevenson and Fonfara. But he goes like this. He says, and this is a quote from Adonis Stevenson. He says, "My goal is to unify the titles by fighting the winner of Kovalev and Ward." He says, "I want the unification, but if not, I'll make my mandatory. If Ward wins, I want to fight him. If Kovalev wins, I want to fight him. I'm ready." My hang up here is that Stevenson seems to have, ducked all the big fights since he won the title, Sal. And, to me, this is all more of his smokescreen. He's full of what. I mean, if you take a look at the time he won the title, just going quickly over Chad Dawson in 2013, right. He fought two decent fights after that. He fought Tavarius Cloud and Tony Bellew. Since then, and no disrespect to Andres Fonfara, because that fight was actually controversial. A lot of people thought Fonfara won that fight. But from that fight, after the Bellew fight, he fought Fonfara, and literally he's had 4 easy defenses, all the while having the chance to fight Kovalev while Kovalev was at the top. And then, of course, now Ward beat Kovalev. So what's your thoughts on this? I mean, is it the boy who cried wolf situation here or what?
Well, we're going to have to find out. And the bottom line is, we hear that the boy who cried wolf, or the fluff without the stuff, however you want to dress it up, it is what it is. And when he gets in the ring with some top contenders and is able to defend his title successfully and wants to take on all comers and does look to seek out and take the winner of the Kovalev Ward fight, those are things, that his words are saying one thing, but his fists have to back up. And if it looks like he's doing a little dance around, wiggle around, and finagling a little bit, then we know where he stands mentally and physically. He's just not wanting to get in the ring with the best. So let's see what he does. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been giving him the benefit of the doubt since 2013, really. This is a guy.
It's a lot of benefits.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of benefit. Hey, it's better than the healthcare system. But, I mean, the truth of the matter is that, listen, if anybody's new to this show, the one thing that they may not know, they should just listen to everybody that isn't new to the show. And one of my biggest pet peeves is fighters that pound on their chest and claim they're the best and they want to do this and they want to do that, and they don't. And Adonis Stevenson is one of those guys, Sal. I mean, he's been, I'm the best, I'm Superman, I'm this, I'm that. And really, he's been a protected fighter. I mean, rightfully so. He's 39 years old. I mean, what's he waiting for? Yes, I get it. He's making some money in Canada. He's taken the Floyd Mayweather route where he picks the easiest fights for the maximum financial return. I get it. I guess I can't really criticize fighters to do that. However, don't pound your chest and say you're the best. I mean, Deontay Wilder does it, but the poor guy actually thinks he's the best. I think Adonis Stevenson knows he's not. What's your thoughts?
That's a great synopsis you just, related to. And, Adonis Stevenson is one animal here. Not an animal. He's just one category, what you just described. And we have definitely others out there that equally pound their chest, but actually believe that they are the best. So him for that. And the bottom line is just get in the ring and let your fist do the talking. That's the bottom line. I can understand fighters that want to market themselves, that want to leverage themselves, that want to try to intimidate an opponent or try to do something. But you know what? Ultimately, guys, you got to get in there with your fists, and you got to become that warrior that you profess to everybody that you are, and you've got to do it. And that's where the tale of the tape, the truth of the fight, is the truth of the fighter is going to lie. He gets in the ring and lets his fist do the talking. That's the bottom line. I mean, the rest is great with the marketing. Push yourself, market yourself. That's great. We understand it. I get it. I think marketing is half the battle. But when you get in that ring, maybe not half the battle, but when you get in a ring, you've got to let your fist do the talking. And you're only as good as your last fight, because that's how everyone is viewing you. So go out there and fight every fight like it's your first fight or like it's your last fight.
I'm not going to criticize him for his style of fighting, because at times he has shown us, that he can do it all. My hang-up is, he wins the title in 2013 against Chad Dawson. Now, I'm not going to, when I talk about Adonis Stevenson to people and we start, he beat Chad Dawson. People, Chad Dawson, he's all washed up. Well, you can't look at Chad Dawson today. You got to look at the Chad Dawson that Adonis Stevenson fought. And although, he still had a couple of losses, in a sense, he was exposed already, or at least declined. I don't want to use that word exposed. Let me check that. His skill set has declined. I'm talking about Chad Dawson. And then when Stevenson wins the belt, he did have two, in my opinion, legitimate title defenses with Cloud and Bellew. But then since then, like I said earlier, they've been just, Seiko Bika, right? In 2015 when he fought him. Bika was given a chance. But his awkward style and plus he was older. And then the infrequency of the fights. He fought the Cloud and Bellew fight in 2013, including the Chad Dawson fight. So he fought 3 times in 2013, twice in 2014, twice in 2015, only once last year against Thomas Williams Jr. I don't know. How do you say you're the best and want people to come to you? I get it. He's got the WBC belt. A lot of fighters value that one the most. But I think he's got to be the label. He's got to be labeled quack quack, the king of the ducks, man. What do you think?
I love that. I get it. Duck.
No,
quack.
no.
Not duck, goose.
No.
Let me tell you something. Like I said, he has a chance to right the ship for himself, and by facing the best opponents he can, and let his fist do his talking. Let's see him continue to take on opponents and win, and let's see what he does. And if he should, so be it. If he can get the winner of the Ward Kovalev fight, that's a fight that we're going to have to see, and hopefully we'll see before the end of the year. And that'll put his money where his mouth is, and his fist will do the talking. And so we'll see. Like I said, I'll give him that benefit of the doubt.
The winner of Kovalev Ward 2,
yes, 2
will destroy Stevenson, in my opinion. And Fonfara, even when you look at Fonfara, and again, I don't want to get into breaking
down. Fight.
Well, I don't want to get into breaking it down now, because later in the week we'll do a full breakdown of the fight. But Fonfara, he's no world beater. Since when did and no disrespect to Andres Fonfara, because he works hard, and when I break down the fight later in the week, you'll see that he legitimately has earned, with the exception of him getting blown out by Joe Smith Jr., he legitimately had earned his first shot against Stevenson and this one. But still, and again, no disrespect to Fonfara, he's not a world beater. This is a guy that Adonis Stevenson should be fighting a better opponent. Now, who? I don't know. The light heavyweight division isn't chock full of top-notch guys. The 2 top fighters are fighting each other, and we'll see what happens there. So I guess he's got one more pass. I guess we got to give him one more pass, right, Sal?
I believe so. Like I said, let's see his fist do his talking, and the benefit of the doubt, let's see what he could do, and I'll look for the best man to win.
Now, do you think? And again, I don't want to jump the gun because we got to have material for later in the week. But
we do.
Do you think that he needs to basically blow out Fonfara in this fight? I mean, to make a statement, if it's a type of fight that he just kind of just squeaks by or controversially wins or something like that. Do you think that's a bad thing? I think it's a bad thing. I mean, in my opinion, he's got to blow away Fonfara to even be considered, a real opponent for either Kovalev or Ward. What do you think?
I love how you say it, to be a real opponent for either Kovalev or Ward, and that's exactly what he's going to be. But the bottom line is, he's got to be dominant in this fight against Fonfara. He can't squeak by, as you said. He can't just look at winning the fight, having some kind of controversial decision or anything like that. He's got to appear dominant. He's got to look sharp, and he's got to do a good job. He's got to rise to the occasion and show what he can do.
Yeah, well, I agree. Hey, listen, I know a lot of you guys are. We want to welcome the Facebook Live audience. We've been experimenting with simulcasting our show on Facebook. And I just want you guys to know that, unfortunately, the camera feed is different than our television camera feed and even our YouTube cameras. So if you're looking to get a more video-enhanced version of the show right now, live, the best thing to do is to go to our YouTube page or go to BillyCBoxing.com. And right on the front, you can get the live feed, or you could just go to youtube.com/talkinboxing, TALKINBOXING. We got a lot of comments coming in on all the platforms, but the chat room that we actually respond to and discuss live on the show is the chat room at BillyCBoxing.com. So check out that. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. I know no one likes commercials, but hey, the TV networks require it, so and the radio stations.
I like them. I'm an infomercial junkie.
You like them because you can go fill up your 50-gallon coffee mug and probably run to the bathroom, But listen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I have two other things I want to talk about real quick before we get Larry Hazard on, and one of them is the WBO's position on their heavyweight picture, and then the other is actually one of your topics, Sal. Your man, Tiger Woods. What happened to Tiger? Tiger's like he used to be a saber-toothed tiger. Now he's a little kitty, but he's a big fat kitty. Anyway, listen, hold that thought. We're going to take a short break. Sal, we'll be back in about, what do you think?
2.
You got it. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the RELION Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the RELION Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And don't forget about our app. You can download it for free. Right now, go to Fight. That's F-I-T-E. Fight.tv/Billy C. And watch and listen to the show on your phone or any other handheld device. I'm here with Sal Rocky Senecola. And... my man, Coach, makes a good comment in the chat room. He says, it's not who they fight that tells the story. It's who they duck or avoid. And, that's a true statement, Sal.
That's a good point.
Because in Adonis Stevenson's case, he's definitely ducked the top guy. I mean, listen, us as boxing fans, we all want a unified champion. We want a guy that can legitimately pound his chest. In the heavyweight division, of course, Deontay Wilder's always pounding his chest. My opinion, the best heavyweight on the planet right now is Anthony Joshua. And, we need to see the fight. Now, the argument that people have all the time is, oh, well, you got to marinate it. Oh, you got to make more money. But like I've said many times, Sal, the truth of the matter is you make the big fights, and then another big fight will become available because the big fights create more big fights. Why do we as boxing fans have to settle for one big fight that takes 4 years to make? I mean, look what happened with Pacquiao and Mayweather. We wanted that fight for more than 5 years. More than 5. Some people wanted it for 7. And then finally it happens. And you're still crying over how anticlimactic that fight was. I mean, Adonis Stevenson and Kovalev could have been a good fight 2 years ago. What do you think?
Yeah, that would have been a good fight back then. And we'll see. They'll probably get in the ring sometime before the end of this year.
Oh,
one way or the
stop.
other.
Oh, stop. He's not going to get it.
You don't think so?
No,
come on.
I don't.
Okay.
But
we should do a side bet.
You better have a side bet. I'll give you a side. I know what a good side bet is. You're gonna have to get up to go to the bathroom soon. That's what it is. But the WBO. Now, if you recall, the champion of the WBO, and I giggle only because it's kind of funny. But Joseph Parker, no disrespect to Parker, he's 23-0 with 18 knockouts in the heavyweight division, was scheduled to fight Huey, not baby Huey, Huey Fury, okay? And Huey Fury apparently had an injury, and they did not tell anyone until about a week before the fight. And subsequently, he had to pull out of the fight. Joseph Parker got another opponent in Kajanu and knocked him out. And now you would think that because Fury, had to pull out of the fight, he had an injury. And by the way, he was the WBO number 1 ranked heavyweight contender. They just released the rankings yesterday, and he's still at number 1. This is a guy
unbelievable
that has not fought since last year in April. So he hasn't fought in over a year, and yet the WBO still has him ranked at number 1. We talk about these sanctioning bodies all the time, Sal, and they are the ones that prevent unifications, and they are the ones that ruin the sport because of moves like this. I mean, after a fighter is out for a year, whether it's due to injury or just plain old good old-fashioned inactivity, I don't think a sanctioning body should maintain their ranking. I mean, the computer system doesn't, and I agree with that. What's your thoughts?
No, I agree too. I mean, you know what? We got to look at it realistically. You know, these guys, if they've been inactive for that period of time, how can they sustain that level of consideration to be even ranked in the top 5? I mean, you got to fight. I mean, I borrow my old buddy Aaron Pryor's favorite saying: "You got to fight to win." And man, that doesn't mean you sit on the sidelines and just let the ranking system elevate you and keep you there. You got to be out there. You got to work. You got to earn it every day. Not every day, but every couple of months at least.
Well, I mean, you know, it goes like what we were saying. Boxing used to be pretty straightforward. It was the king of sports, and you worked your way up. I say this all the time, Sal. I'm a broken record. You start off as an amateur. You have a successful field. You turn to become a pro. You work your way up. You become a prospect, then a contender. You climb the ladder and you get your title shot. I mean, boxing used to be a trade. Today, it's like a second job, you know, and only the big guys are making good money, and a lot of it, I believe, is the sanctioning body's faults. But speaking of faults, how about what happened to Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods the other day, and we didn't even talk about it yesterday, but Tiger Woods got arrested near his Florida home for a DUI. Now, it was early hours in the morning. He gets arrested, and I saw the mug shot, and he did not look. If they didn't say it was Tiger Woods at quick glance, I wouldn't have recognized him. He's putting on some weight. He didn't, from what I understand, and you can enlighten me because I know you followed the story. I thought that he refused a breathalyzer, and then came out in the news and said that it was not due to alcohol, and he was charged with DUI. But he did succumb to a blood test, which I don't know if the results are out yet. I think toxology. Oh, is that the word today? Toxology reports take a little while to get out. But either way, what a fall from grace Tiger Woods had, huh? I mean, being the guy that was the guy in golf to now, and everybody has bad luck at some point or another. So I'm not so much about the DUI, but just his fall from grace. I mean, I can't recall a bigger star that has fallen harder than he has over the last couple of years. Have you?
No. Oh, it really is sad because, I mean, this guy was a living legend. I mean, this guy was the all-time. This guy was considered one of the greatest all-time golfers, still in his prime, evolving every day. I mean, he was doing things that people only dream of, and you talk about the legends 100 years from now. And then all of a sudden, it was a crash, and it was a bottom, and you think the heart of a champion, you could dust yourself up, pick up, and sustain and get back into the game. And I'll be honest, when he first fell from grace and first had his plateau and had some troubles, I thought that was part of him being humble, licking his wounds, staying in a low profile, and wanting to regenerate himself and come back with a surge that was going to be explosive and tremendous. And you know what? I keep thinking that maybe that's what's going to happen, but it's not, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't think that fighter, that golfer, that man, that legend is still that fuel, that fire. I think he learned how to live in his current state and to not have to rise to the occasion any longer. And I don't think he's ever going to do that. I've got to put that book away. And it was a shame because this guy could do things, and I respected him and had so much admiration, as everybody did. I mean, this guy was just a living legend. He really was, in his prime.
Yeah.
And it's over. It's over. The page has to be turned. He's never going to sustain or get back at a level of any kind of world-class golf that he had command of. I say command because the guy can win anything. And it's no longer.
It's true. And you know, I mean, it's a shame. Tiger Woods was a great golf superstar, and you know, when he started not making the cut for some of these big tournaments, you know, but I mean, his first mistake was getting rid of that hot wife he had. I mean,
I don't know if it was his choice.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden things.
Well, I think that was his. That was. You know, there are things when you walk along a path, Bill, and you know he was walking along the path destined for greatness, and he surely was. And you deviate from the path, and you have a mistake or an error, and you can't climb back on that path right away and straighten things out. You're going to make another mistake. You're going to fall further and further and further away from the path until it's insurmountable for you to ever climb and get back on that right track. And that's not a bad analogy for 8:30 in the morning. But I think that's where he's gone. And it's a shame because, like I said, the guy was a class act, a world-class act, and he's made one bad decision after the other, and he's been unable to get back into that world-class, world-beater golf pro that was more than just an enigma. He was a reality and a legend living right in front of us.
Yeah,
It's over.
hopefully he can get his together.
Stay out in his life and just live a normal life and be happy, be healthy, and realize, hey.
Well, he's a gazillionaire, so it's not money.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, listen, let me get everybody caught up. We're going to be taking a break here in a second. We got Larry Hazard coming on. Sal's got to run to the toilet. But here in the in baseball last night, the Indians beat the A's 9-4. The Dodgers topped the Cardinals 9-4. The Yankees keep winning, much to my chagrin, 8-3 over the Orioles. The Diamondbacks shut out the Pirates 3-0. The Blue Jays over the Reds 6-4. The Mariners beat the Rockies 10-4. The Marlins over the Phillies 7-2. The Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Rays. We can't call them the Devil Rays anymore. They're just the Rays now. Because that's
really.
Well, you don't want to rock the political correctness boat. So
political correctness.
The Rangers beat the regular Rays 9-5. The Red Sox topped the White Sox in the battle of the Sox. 13-7. Now, Chris Sale, just to get everybody, he was a White Sox guy. Remember, he cut his jersey in half because he didn't like the jersey, and he was a problem child. Well, he got ended up going over to the Red Sox, and with the Red Sox right now, he's 6-2 as a starter, and he won last night. So I like Chris Sale. Astros topped the Twins 7-2. The Royals shut out the Tigers 1-0. The Nationals, they keep winning 6-3 over the Giants. The Angels topped the Braves 9-3. The Padres over the Cubbies 6-2. And guess what? The Mets won again. 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row. It took them 12 innings to squeak out the 5-4 victory over the Brewers last night. So the Mets, I don't know. I mean, they're getting closer to 500, but still a long way to go. Hey, Sal, we'll be looking forward to you. We're going to take a break. We're scheduled to get Larry Hazard on the phone. Then after that, we got Alex Perpali and our Blast from the Past, which is Ike Iabuchi, another request from our viewers. So we hope that if you have a Blast from the Past that you want to request, just drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing. Then we're going to get you back on, Sal, and I got some emails to read. And I got some interesting top 100 worldwide recognized sports people. I'll tell you who's on the list and who's not on the list. So, Sal, you have a good trip to the coffee maker and wherever else you're going to go.
And coffee right here.
We'll see you in a little bit, all right?
All right, buddy. You take care. We'll see you guys later.
All right. That's Sal Rocky Sanicola. And the rest of us, well, we're going to take a short break. And when we get back, like I said, Larry Hazard's scheduled to join us. Don't go nowheres.
Billy C will be right back.
This message is for all Americans that owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS. Look, I know you want to keep ignoring those letters, but the problem isn't going away. It's really stressful, and you don't know where to turn.
The good news is you have rights, and we can help resolve your IRS problems.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, our qualified CPAs, tax negotiators, and support staff know the law and know how to get your situation under control legally and permanently.
Call the number on your screen now and we will contact the IRS on your behalf, help you end wage garnishments, stop collection calls, remove tax liens, get rid of IRS and state tax penalties, and reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. You wouldn't go to fix your car without going to a mechanic, so why face the IRS without an experienced company that can help you?
Let us take the stress of back taxes and the IRS off your shoulders so you can spend time on the important things in your life, like your family or your business. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, call now and find out how we can help you.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call at 800-567-0214 because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. Call 800-567-0214. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait. Call 800-567-0214. That's 800-567-0214.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And like I was saying earlier, we launched some experimental version of the show that's simulcasting right now on Facebook Live. And I want to give a shout out to my man John McCleary, who's watching us on Facebook Live. But more importantly, his woman, Lynn, is right next to him, and she's letting him watch it. So I want to thank Lynn for keeping John straight. And joining us right now, I'm sure he's happy, too, about all of this, is my man Larry Hazard. What's up, Larry?
Hey, good morning.
How you making out today, my man?
Well, I wish you would send us a little sunshine from upstate New York.
What makes you think I got any sunshine? I'm building an ark right now. We're not supposed to see that yellow thing in the sky till middle of next week, I hear. It's like,
wow.
You should see the lawn. I don't know. I think we got saber-toothed tigers moving in. The grass is getting so high. But anyway, I got the email for you from last week that we didn't get a chance to. But first, let's just go right to the main topic here. Errol Spence Jr. And Kell Brook this past weekend. Another great fight, Larry. I loved it. My initial thought on the fight was that I thought that Kell Brook was winning the fight. The first half of the fight, I actually disagreed with the unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood, giving a couple of the early rounds to Spence. It looked like, in my opinion, that Errol Spence was had a game plan. He was a ring general. He was cutting the ring off. He was setting things up, but he wasn't letting his hands go until after the 6th round. Then he started letting his hands go, and the rest is history. Put on a great performance. Humble kid. I think he's great for the sport. What was your assessment of the fight, both sides, Kell Brook and Errol Spence, and the aftermath?
No, I think you're right on. Because watching the fight, I took a break away from the festivities in Atlantic City to catch the fight. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, let your hands go, man, let your hands go. Because, I think he was having, early on, I think he was having a little trouble with Kell Brook's movement, okay? But he wasn't really firing off those shots the way that I thought he should. And so I kept, you know how you're cheering from in front of the screen, let your hands go, let your hands go. I thought that he didn't really wake up until somewhere around 6 or 7. You know, I could see that he was using the right strategy, but he just wasn't busy enough. But when he got busy, then he started nailing them, and we saw what the outcome was.
You know, it's like I'm looking at the fight, I'm watching it, you know, and sometimes, like everyone else, you get too deep in the analytical part, and you're trying to, you know, what's going on. And the facts are the facts. I mean, he's the guy in the ring. You know, the corner's, trying to execute the game plan. But what it looked like to me was that he wanted to get the distance. And when you look at the fact that Kell Brook is who he is, I mean, some people try, but you can't argue the fact that the guy is a quality fighter. And I think that, you know, no disrespect to Errol Spence, but he hadn't faced a guy of Kell Brook's caliber. And I think it took him a little longer to get his distance right and to start putting his foot on the gas pedal. He was in position. He was following him around. And I just think it took him a little while. And then that jab, really, when he started working that jab, Larry, everything else fell in place. I think if you could learn one thing out of it, if you were able to take the video of that fight and show it to a young fighter, you show them and you say, look, this is how the jab can effectively change the outcome of a fight. And once he started using it, everything else fell in place, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, and you're very right about the young fighters. I mean, there's only 4 basic punches in boxing: the jab, right cross, left hook, and the uppercut. That's the main menu of boxing offense. And from day one, when a young kid goes into the gymnasium, good trainers always start out emphasizing the jab. And if you do the research, and I know that you are somewhat of a historian, if you go back and look at most, if not all, of the great fighters, past and present, they all had good left jabs. Or if they were southpaws, even Marvin Hagler, he had a good right jab. You know, everything starts with the jab. And the opposite side of that, when you're from defense, when you block the jab, you normally, the offensive fighter has to start all over again to show you, that's just a demonstration of how important that jab is. And when a young fighter when he develops a good jab, that's what kept Larry Holmes heavyweight champion for over 7.5 years. Klitschko, as boring as he was, the one thing that he did possess was that height and that jab right out front. That jab. He didn't have much else for most of his career, but he had that good, potent left jab. And I think that that is really Errol Spence's main weapon. When he started connecting with it, you saw what he did to Kell Brook's eye. You saw how he started penetrating Kell Brooks' defense, and eventually he was able to overtake him. So it was a good lesson, and I think it was a good learning experience for Errol Spence, because the kid has a lot of promise. And I just want to see these type of fights keep coming, because it was very enjoyable.
He showed us that he's got a solid chin. He showed us that he's got power. He showed us that he's a good defensive fighter. He's got good head movement, but he's aggressive, which makes him exciting, which is also good. I think this kid is the guy, and of course, everybody's talking about, who's going to fight next. Personally, I mean, obviously I want the 2 top guys to fight, Keith Thurman, but I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Danny Garcia or even a Sean Porter. I think, and I was talking about this earlier, the problem with today's sport, Larry, is that, they use that term that I believe Bob Arum coined. They want to marinate fights. They want, to let these fights build up to a boil before they have the fights. And I think that that's a mistake. I think that the fan is getting hurt by missing out on great fights. When you have the momentum that we seem to be having right now in 2017, you got to keep these big fights coming. And like I said earlier, another big fight will materialize after the fight. Who's to say that the only good fight was Pacquiao-Mayweather? We obviously learned that was a falsehood. The only good fight now in the welterweight division is Spence and Thurman. Wrong. You get that fight out of the way, and somebody else is going to rise and say, oh, now I want to see him fight so-and-so, and it makes sense, and it also could make financial sense and possibly catapult the sport. What do you think?
Well, when you talk about letting the fight, and again, you're right on. Look how long we waited for Mayweather-Pacquiao, and I still want my money back. Marinating a fight, there's no such thing because there's a constant clock that's ticking on the careers of fighters, and we never know where that clock is going to end. Some fighters have extended careers. Some fighters' careers may end right around the corner. So while you're waiting, a fighter his skills can dissipate. Some fighters' skills begin to dissipate very quickly. Could be put in a great performance today, the next time out, or 6 months later, a year later, he stinks the place out. So you never know where he's at. That's why fighters have to stay busy. A fighter is like a well-oiled machine. You got to keep him working. You can't let the car sit in the garage too long because even though it's not being driven, it erodes, it dissipates. You see, and it doesn't run as smoothly as a car that's constantly in use. Same thing with a fighter. Fighter has to stay busy. You have to keep him out before the public, and you have to put the best fighters together and do away with this nonsense that an O is the end of a career. Those fights that you mentioned that you'd like to see take place, even if Errol Spence fought Sean Porter or one of the other kids and lost, as long as he puts in a great performance, people are still going to want to see him against Thurman or against one of the other ones in that mix, you see. So, you get the top fighters in a weight class and you begin to cross-match them. And as they perform well, you look for that right dance partner. And people want to see that. This is what makes boxing great. This is why, once again, we go back to the past era. That's why we got to know and fall in love with the Haglers, the Hearns, the Leonards, the Benitezes, the Aguelos, the Pryors, because we saw them over and over and over. And they would fight each other 2 and 3 times, win this time, lose this time, and people still wanted to see them come back. So I think that's one of the big mistakes that are made today. Hell with this marinating crap. Put the best fighters together and let them fight as soon as possible.
Oh, I agree 100%. 100%. And the thing about leaving the car in the garage, a great analogy. And then don't forget about the mice that move into the car too, so.
That's right.
But as far as Kell Brook, there's been a lot of discussion. Of course, these, tough guys, criticizing the quit, him saying that he couldn't continue. MMA has the tap out. I was talking about this yesterday, and nobody ever complains about that. And there are people that try to say, well, the tap out's not the same. And, I don't know. I've never broke my eye socket, but it doesn't sound like it's too pleasurable, And when I had a chance to really think about the fight, I said to myself, if this guy, Kell Brook, could have lasted that round, the 11th round, and then ran around the ring like Bugs Bunny against the Crusher in the cartoons for the 3 minutes of the 12th round, and forced the fight to go to the scorecards, you never know what the outcome would have been, Larry. You know, I mean, to tell you the truth, I thought, like I said, I thought that on my unofficial scorecard, I had Brook winning those early rounds. So you never know. Plus, he's in front of his hometown, and they were cheering. I mean, you never know. What was your thoughts on how the fight ended?
Well, I had him winning. I had him winning the early rounds also. I don't think there's a big argument on that. You know, I'm sure I don't really read a lot of the press after I've seen a fight. I had him winning the early rounds. The way he went out. Look, the bravest people in the world sometimes are people who've never gone into battle, and I say that to say that he is no fool. He knows that he probably could have ran, he could have held, he could have done a lot of things to survive the fight. But the man should be given credit for putting in a good performance, standing and fighting. He reached a point where that eye was really in serious jeopardy. He realized that he couldn't continue at that top level. He didn't want to run. So why not let the glass be half full instead of half empty and give him credit for his courage of fighting and not running? And he reached a point where he could no longer fight, so he gave it up. So I look at it that way. Instead of him stinking the fight out at the end, he decided that, hey, I cannot continue to perform at my optimum level because I'm physically unable to do so. He had no control over that. So I don't have any problem with the way the fight ended. Okay? I think that he was courageous for the time that he was in there, giving it his all, staying loyal and staying faithful to the sport. And so I tip my hat to him. I have no problem.
I agree, and well put. Because some of these guys, you know how they are. The corners are rough and tough. The fans are rough and tough, and they're not the guys with their eye socket broken. And well put. I got an email for you. This one was from Joel. He says, "Hey Larry, what are your thoughts on some boxers going to Mexico to begin their pro career because they allow you to box at a younger age?" He says, "I believe the age is 16 versus 18 or 19 in the U.S. Do you think other countries should follow the same rules as the U.S., or do you find it something that can't be changed and will never change?" He says, "I also notice in some countries, fighters will go there for a tune-up fight to face what he terms a tomato can and possibly risk serious danger because of the completely difference in the level of skill, which I also think is dangerous." What's your thoughts on this? And this is from Joel.
Well, I'm a strong believer in studies. I don't know how many, or I don't know of many fighters that have gone to Mexico and to start their careers at age 15. But I would be interested in seeing some type of analysis of those who have done it and the success level of those who have done it. I do believe that at age 16, we should look very seriously at the physical maturity factor of a youngster, unless he is just so exceptional. I mean, so exceptional. Okay, that would take a second look. But, you know, boxing is a very, very dangerous sport. It's nothing to play with. And a 16-year-old who may have or have some promise as an athlete, or even perhaps as a great fighter, still, I think, lacks a great deal of physical maturity, important muscular development that's necessary to be successful in combat sports or in contact sports of this nature. So So it's a dangerous situation. I'm satisfied with the way that it is. 18, I believe, that's the age of consent now. 18, I think that a young man has reached a certain level of development that would allow him to participate against older guys who are much more mature if he has the skill level. So I'm not a big proponent of youngsters getting involved at that level at such an early age. So I would be against it just from my basic knowledge and background of physiology. I would definitely be against that. And I have no problem with the way it is right now.
I agree. Hey, jumping back to the, I forgot to ask you, jumping back to the Spence Kell Brook fight, I thought the referee did a good job of letting them fight. The wrong guy in there could have really, because we saw a lot of good body work from both fighters in that matchup. And, some of these referees just, as soon as a fighter's getting close, they jump in between them and break them up. And we would have lost that whole aspect of the, the strategy, especially both fighters had a strategy of trying to work the body. What was your thoughts on the ref in the Spence Brook fight?
Well, that's my specialty, and I'm always looking at the left eye is watching the fight, the right eye is watching the referee, and you're absolutely right. Foster did an excellent job in the fight, and like you said, a lot of referees would be jumping in because a lot of referees think that people come to see them, and so what they do in a fight at this level, a good fight that didn't require a whole lot of referee intervention. He used good voice commands, told him, punch out, let him go, you understand, kept moving. And the flow of the fight kept going. But some of these movie star referees, they feel that they're not getting enough, camera time, so they jump in at every instance they can so they could be seen, and in doing so, they spoil a good fight. But I thought that Foster did an excellent job. He stayed at the periphery. He kept moving left to right, in and out, the way a good referee is supposed to do. So I would give him an A+ for the job that he did in that fight.
Yeah, I agree with you. He wasn't trying to – he didn't come up with any kind of coined you must obey. Your favorite one, what I say you must obey. He didn't say any of that. And he certainly didn't try to take any of the camera time. Some of these guys, it is so obvious to me. The cat from New York, what's his name? What's the guy that makes all the faces and stuff? Steve Willis. Steve Willis. He's too. They're talking about him. The commentators were talking about him like the fans want him in there, like he's part of the fight. I couldn't believe it the last time he was doing that. I'm listening to the Showtime commentators. And they're talking about that, and I'm saying to myself, what the F? What are they saying? Why? I don't know any, even marginal, part-time guys that watch boxing every once in a while. Not one person that I know gives a rat's ass about the referee. They'll criticize him if they don't do the right job, but the best referee is the guy you can't remember who did it, because that means he did a great job, in my opinion. I know you feel the same way, and you're strict with your referees in Jersey, right?
You're absolutely, man, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. Now, you're talking about the referee in New York. I don't have a problem with his skill level. He breaks clinches, he does, I'm not going to go there. But this is one very, very important factor that shows you how much these commentators know about about what it's all about. First off, the fans don't come to see the referee. Let's start with that. Number two, the problem that I have with Willis, these grimaces and all of these machinations that he makes when these guys throw a punch, when they land a punch, can very well have an effect on the judges while they're sitting there watching that. There's a subconsciousness that's at work, And I'm telling you, that could have a very, very detrimental effect on the psyche of the judges when they see the referee grimacing and making all of these, facial expressions when a fighter is throwing a punch, and the fighter may not even be, landing effectively or whatever. I don't know what's causing it, but I do. A referee is supposed to be as neutral as possible. He has to show no emotion. He has to stay out of the way, and he has to understand that the fans come to see the fighters. Now, that a guy listening, all of this stuff that's going on, when the referee goes home now and he watches the replay and he's hearing all of this fabulous stuff being said about him by Jim Lampley, that now sends a signal to his brain the next time he's in there, I got to please Jim Lampley now. I want to hear all these good things when I go and review this fight. That's the subconscious that's going to kick in, and it's not good for the sport.
I tell you, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I'm watching Willis the last time he's out, and he's actually like doing kind of a dance in there. I'm like, what's he trying to audition for the dance show? I mean, come on. It was, and then the worst part about it is when you start seeing it, you start focusing on it. I mean, the worst thing Teddy Atlas ever did during a live broadcast was he starts mentioning the fighter keeps looking at his toe. Next thing you know, I'm looking at the fighter's toe. I'm like, God, that's why I listen to it without sound anymore. They make an impact. And when they start saying, oh, this referee's a great referee, personally, and I know I'm not going to ask you your opinion, but there's several referees that I think are terrible. And Steve Smoger is one of them. These are guys that, get all of the accolades from the announcers, and then people talk, oh, that's Joe Cortez. Oh, he was a great referee. And I'm like, what? Because he was fair and firm? I mean, when I saw him holding the mic from Buffer just to get his phrase in, and Buffer's like trying to yank it away from him, I just, that's sad. That's sad that these guys really think that people care, And then, like you said, when the announcer says it, and you know damn well that every single one of those referees go home to watch themselves on TV. You hit that on the head. You know that. And, oh, yeah, I got to please them. I want them to say nice things about me, So you're right, man. It's nerve-wracking. It takes away from the whole fight. But, hey, everything, we're running out of time. Everything go good with your induction in Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame?
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir.
This was one of the greatest weekends that I've ever had in my boxing life, second only perhaps or equal to, on a smaller scale, my international induction in Canastota. This was the ultimate family reunion in my boxing career. All of the people who were there in the beginning. I was involved in the very first fight in Atlantic City at the Steel Pier Resort International. It was promoted by Frank Gelb. They were all there. Frank Gelb, Don Elbaum, Russell Peltz, Ken Condon. The Duva family was there to represent Lou. Michael Spinks, Kwawi was there. It was one hell of a weekend. And the reason I enjoyed myself so well is because my wife and my family had such a wonderful time. And my wife, very rarely, man, she stays in the background. She married into this. My kids were born into this. So, it takes a lot for them to get excited. But my wife had a very, very wonderful time. And so it was just a perfect weekend for me. And I just hope that it can just keep going with the momentum. But it was great, man. It was really great.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And once again, congratulations, Larry. You mean a lot to the sport of boxing. There's no question about that. And we'll look forward to you next week to talk about Stevenson and his fight this week. And there's one of those fights that should have taken place a long time ago. And well, we'll be chatting about that and that performance next week. But then we got the rematch coming up, Kovalev Ward. So we got some good stuff still on the horizon. So things are still going good, my man.
Yep. Let's keep it going.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you next week.
Okay, Billy. Take care.
That's Larry Hazard, Boxing Hall of Famer. Many Boxing Hall of Fames now. New Jersey State Athletic Commissioner, and knows what he's doing, huh? Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're scheduled to have our blast from the past. This week, it's former heavyweight top contender, Ike Ibuchi, and Alex Papali will be here in a few minutes to tell us all about the Prez. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C Show. Glad you could be with us today. And we're glad we're with you today. Hey, I want to give a special shout out to everyone watching on Holyfield Television. Yeah, we're proud to be part of the Holyfield Television Network. And we want to hear from you. So drop us an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. And we also want to thank our experimental this week on Facebook Live. We'd love to hear from you guys. Do you want us to continue? You know, we're simulcasting on Facebook Live. Now, just so you guys know, the people that are watching on Facebook, the camera feed that you're getting is not the TV feed or even our YouTube channel feed. It's a separate camera. If you're looking to get a more video-enhanced viewer experience where you can see the other people that are on this show and all that other stuff, you got to go to at least a YouTube channel or check your television listings and look for our show. We are on several networks now, and we're glad to be part of that. Anyway, coming up right now, it's being brought to us by the Title Bout Championship computer game, and KOFantasyBoxing.com is one of our listeners' and viewers' favorite segments. It's been part of our show. We're in our 14th year, and this segment has been part of our show for at least 12 of those 14 years. It's called The Blast from the Past. This week's Blast from the Past, upon request, former top heavyweight contender Ike Iwabuchi. And joining me right now to tell us all about the Prez is my man, Alex Perpali. What's up, Alex?
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, my man. Not too bad. Ike Iwabuchi. You know, when I emailed you and said, yeah, we got another request, this one's about Ike Iwabuchi, I actually saw the pleasure in the email that you were looking forward to. You said, oh, this guy's got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Yeah, you know, and, with your kind of warped sense of humor, yeah, he does have a lot of fun stuff to talk about if we're looking for, kind of not so good things, you know. So aside from the fact that he doesn't have a obituary yet, which you really love, he does have some other stuff that's pretty interesting, right?
Yes, guilty as charged. I do enjoy the bizarre ones. Our sport has, I think, the more startling when it comes to bizarre. Nothing compares to boxing. And yeah, Ike Iwabuchi's story, and I think, of course, what makes it noteworthy was how good he was before we learned of all the incredibly crazy stuff and really unfortunate criminal behavior. But yeah, that's the other appeal for me, is I've always liked heavyweights quite a bit, and he was really one of a more sensational heavyweight that looked like he had tremendous potential.
Yeah, you know, I tell you, one of the guys, and I'll admit, what are you, slamming down a beer? What are you doing? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. What are you? You're already drinking? Come on, even I don't have a... Listen, there's not even coffee in this coffee mug. If it was my way, I'd be throwing down some scotches right now. Come on, man. Come on. But one of the guys that actually turned me on to Ike Iwabuchi was Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman was really high on Ike Iwabuchi when he came out. And, everybody always says, and of course, I think the biggest fight that he had was in 1997 against David Tua, and then, of course, his last fight against Chris Bird. But when you look at the rest of his resume, was he as good as we really thought?
Yeah, I mean, the fight with Tua was tremendous, and the win over Chris Bird gave him, an incredible amount of legitimacy at heavyweight, because Chris Bird was one of the top guys at that time, and he stopped him. But you're right. I mean, when you look at the rest of his record, there's not many names at all. But that David Tua fight was absolutely sensational. It was one of the best heavyweight fights of the 90s. He actually set a record for heavyweights for punches thrown, which I think that probably appealed to me more than anything else. Myself as being interested in his career was I love a busy offensive fighter, and that's really what he was. Ike Iwabuchi versus Tua was just a tremendous, boxer puncher versus slugger fight. So you had that great matchup, where you have Ike Iwabuchi, the taller guy, fending off the smaller slugging guy, and those always make for really, really tremendous, exciting matchups, especially in the heavyweight division. And some people do say that David Tua, in a way, was never the same after that Ike Iwabuchi fight.
He wasn't. I mean, the truth is, he really wasn't. And the only thing that they credit Tua to, especially after that, was that he hadn't been stopped, and even that was no more after a while. But he was born in Nigeria. Tell us about the early days of Ike Iwabuchi.
One thing that I was a little disappointed in this is there's a few. He was in the era where boxing was just starting to get covered extensively by the web. And there was the website House of Boxing, and the beginnings of Max Boxing at that time, I used the Wayback Machine website, which usually is pretty good, but for some reason I just couldn't get into those House of Boxing articles, which I was really disappointed. One place that actually is one of the better sources for this guy is Wikipedia. That's not always the case, of course, but Wikipedia actually has a really good write-up on him that covers most of everything. His name was actually, and I'm sorry for the pronunciation, but Ikamafula Charles Ibeabuchi. So, you know, us gringo Americans find Ike a lot easier. His nickname was the President because he did have this sort of, chief executive quality to him. He showed up when he wants to weigh-ins, and he, made a lot of his own decisions and things like that.
Was that the reason? I thought it was because Ike. I like Ike.
Yeah. Maybe that was part of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But he got into the sport. I guess he was on track to be a soldier, to join the Nigerian military. He was born over in Isuchi, Nigeria, and he was planning to be a soldier. He was born in February 2nd of 1973, 6'2", if I didn't say his height, and he usually fought around 230, 240. So this is a big, strong guy. But he was on track to be in the Nigerian military when he saw a fight between two guys named James Buster Douglas and Iron Mike Tyson. And you know how that one went down. And he was inspired by Buster Douglas' performance and decided to become a boxer. And, had some pretty quick success as an amateur, and eventually came to the U.S. And started training. He came to Dallas, Texas, and he started training under Curtis Coates, who was a fighter and then a trainer. And ironically, there was this connection that Coates had between, fighters who were eventually charged with sexual assault. Coates was also the trainer for Tony Ayala, who was another famous, convicted for rape.
Yeah, he did his time, came back, and went back. When I learned about Ike Ibuchi, and by the way, I still haven't accepted the Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas fight, being such a huge Tyson fan. So please stop rubbing salt in the wounds. But Ike Ibuchi, just to think about him for a second. Here's a kid, and really we should have looked. People should have looked into his psyche with that story, his youth story, because I don't know many people. And first of all, I want to apologize to all Nigerians out there because I'm not familiar with life in Nigeria. But from what I understand, joining the Nigerian military doesn't sound too exciting to me. It sounds like it could be like, going to Siberia or being sentenced to the Russian front, in World War II, but, to be looking forward to being part of the Nigerian military and then choosing a sport like boxing because it seemed much better, I don't know, Alex. I'm a little torn with that. What do you think?
Well, I think that's the thing about that. The interesting thing about this guy is that Ibeabuchi does bring that sort of light to the fact that something Larry Holmes always jokes about. And I remember a couple of years ago when Turning Stone Casino had that little get-together between Holmes and Tyson a few nights before the Hall of Fame induction weekend. There was a moment where they brought up the issue of concussions and what boxing, the effect boxing has on the brain and your personality. And Larry Holmes said, I was crazy before I started fighting. You could certainly make that argument about some of the stuff about Ibeabuchi. Granted, you're right. There are very likely lots of cultural differences between an American and a Nigerian. However, some of the stuff was just plain weird. Both Ike and his mother claimed to see and hear demons. There was an incident, actually. Some of these things actually happened after the Tua fight. And I guess maybe today that could make you wonder about, CTE and stuff like that, and erratic behavior. But one of the things he did, that this was pretty bad, was he kidnapped his son of an estranged girlfriend and drove him from Dallas to Austin. He wanted to teach the kid a lesson. And I guess the trip ended when he drove into a bridge abutment that was, it was supposedly a suicide attempt. The kid was injured. He served, I guess, 120 days for that. And then there had been other incidents before the one in July 22nd of '99 that was the one that sent him to prison. Where
Alex, when was the son one? It's the first time I'm hearing of that. When was that? What year was that?
That was right after the Tua fight, and if you look on BoxRec, there's a little bit of a gap there. He fought Tua in June of '97, and then he doesn't fight again until July of '98. So in between that, evidently he had the little kidnapping jaunt, and then the 120 days in jail, and then got back. So the Tim Ray fight, in a sense, was a comeback.
Well, let me ask you this: did he have any other history of we'll just use the term mental instability prior in his life, prior to him, aside from speaking with demons and stuff with his mom around having dinner, hey, let's talk to a couple of demons, but did he have any more? Why wasn't, now I'm just getting ahead of myself here, but I wonder why they didn't do any kind of extensive examinations on him, head scans, etc.
Well, that's where I think it does get complicated, because when he eventually got to prison, not to prison, but into the legal system after, we should just point out the crime or the accusation, what it was. Well, now I guess we could call it a crime. He served time for it. He pled guilty using, actually, and maybe that's not the right word, he pled out on the Alford plea, which evidently is a legal recourse for a defendant where you're not admitting guilt, but you are admitting that they have enough evidence to convict you. Now, I wonder if for his case, the sort of caveat to that was because he had a mental illness issue. Because if you remember, and this is the part that I was looking for, that I remember reading articles about it at the time, and I just couldn't find them. And I wonder if maybe it's just something with that Wayback Machine or whatever, the House of Boxing, because I can remember them having problems. He didn't stand trial for a long time. It was about 2 years that he was in the system before he eventually pled on that Alford plea. And part of it was that he seemed too nuts to stand trial, that he didn't understand what was going on. There was a point where Bob Arum had actually bought in. This was an article from December of, I believe, of '99. So he's been in the system at this point about 6 months. And I'm sorry, he, what's it called? Bob Arum was thinking about, he had pledged between $150,000 and $175,000 toward Ibeabuchi's defense. And he met with him on December 6th. And this is some of the quotes. This is from a Tim Graham article from ESPN. "I'm having second thoughts about it," Arum told the Las Vegas Sun. "His attitude is sort of bizarre. The kind of money he says he wants to fight is so far out of line that it's completely unrealistic. On top of that, he wants a bonus. And he didn't seem to care what may happen if he doesn't beat this criminal case. I told him all things I could do for him, but he didn't seem to grasp any of it. The way I look at it now, I'm not going to put good money after bad. I think I'll cut my losses." And of course, then he did go to prison and got out in 2016, but even in 2014, and then was remanded into the custody of ICE. And evidently they must have decided that they could release him, and perhaps it was in order to give him a chance to work. We saw this happen recently with Raimundo Beltran, that one of those conditions that they, sort of allow your citizenship to sort of be on hold, and if you can prove that you are being productive working here. Now, maybe that was one of the stipulations that allowed him to return to working in America. However, in 2016, he violated his probation and went back to the clink. So evidently, I think that is where he is now, violating his probation. His was, a sex crime, so it could be something like maybe going to a strip club. I don't know what the violation was, but there was no charge. So, I mean, maybe it was speeding. You don't know what the conditions of his probation were, but usually it has to do with the original offense.
Well, what I heard, first of all, so everybody understands, because we kind of jumped a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Which I didn't know, but he was arrested and served 120 days for the charge of kidnapping his son, which, you mentioned, Alex, you mentioned that, it ended when he smashed into a bridge abutment. Then he ended up getting into more trouble where he was arrested in 1999 on a sexual assault and battery charge, which was right after the Chris Bird fight. And that's when he was in jail and all of the stuff that you referred to, the Alford plea in 2001. He did stay behind bars up until April of 2016. And then the terms of his probation was lifetime probation, which I find amazing. That they let him out, but yet they put him on lifetime probation, which is basically you're under the gun for the rest of your life on a sexual and battery charge, which is pretty. I don't know. Obviously, there's other things involved that aren't being made public, but what I heard that violating the probation was that he refused to begin, or he did not check into a treatment plan that he was supposed to have done in Arizona. And that was violation. But I did not ever hear if he did, in fact, get thrown back in jail. Because from what I understood was that he was supposed to be getting back into the ring in 2016. He was actually scheduled, Alex, and then he's basically fallen off the radar again. So that's where I lost the trail.
Yeah, there was some talk for a while that he was going to fight on, I think, the Pacquiao-Bradley undercard.
Exactly.
And possibly against Andy Ruiz. But yeah, the last interview with him, he does seem kind of delusional about his own career. That's not too surprising. A lot of fighters are. I mean, listen to Shannon Briggs. But he wants to just step into a fight with Vlad Klitschko after 17 years of being outside of the ring. It's almost as if he thinks it's 1999. What he did with the call girl evidently was he arranged for her to come to his room she claims, to strip. Then he tried to force himself on her. Evidently, it was attempted sexual assault. Battery was the main charge. He got 2 to 10 years for that, and then 3 to 20 for attempted sexual assault. The judge deemed that he served them consecutively. But evidently, there's no doubt about it, he seemed like a dangerous guy. When they tried to come and arrest him, he had barricaded himself in the bathroom, and they only subdued him by spraying pepper spray under the door, and it eventually forced him to come out. This was at the Mirage Hotel. That was the incident that he was arrested at. But evidently, it came out in the discovery period that there had been an earlier complaint for almost the same situation, with a call girl, being cornered in the room and him demanding sex once at the Treasure Island Hotel. So it had happened before, like 6 to 8 months earlier. And then there was an incident, too, where he actually wielded a knife. And sort of the quote is, they knew it, the belts belong to me. He stabbed into the table, I guess, at a meeting with Cedric Kushner, who I think has passed away now. But it was just very strange. It was at like a HBO dinner, discussing a possible fight deal. Not, really the way to impress people that are about to pay you a big lucrative contract.
Like you said, it's interesting stories with Iwabuchi. It sounds like we could continue going on and on, but unfortunately, we're running out of business. We're running out of time. The one thing I can't help but look, Ike Iwabuchi to me always seemed like such a big guy, and when you look at the statistics, 6'2" with a 76-inch reach. Honestly, Alex, by today's standards, he's a small heavyweight. I wouldn't say go that far, but when you're fighting guys like Joshua and Klitschko, 6'6" and 7, and Tyson Fury 6'9". When he was fighting a guy like Tua, and he made Tua look like a small guy, now he's the small guy. So the probability of him mounting a successful comeback is next to nil. How did he make out in the Title Bout Championship computer game?
Yeah, I think that the idea of him making a comeback is ridiculous. Even if you think about compared to Foreman's break was much shorter. I think it was only 10 years. This is, the person to ask is Sal Rocky Senacola, because it's a comparable. Although it's shorter of his layoff. Iwabuchi was 17 years out of the ring. Sal was, 25? So in the Title Bout Championship boxing game, he actually does pretty well. And this is interesting because you're right. He was about as big as they make him back then for the 90s. But you're right. He's not now. So the first one I put him in against was Anthony Joshua. The first time they fight, Anthony Joshua scores a knockout, stops him at 2 minutes and 33 of the 8th round. When they fight 100 times, Iwabuchi does get the better of him. 58 victories, 39 defeats, 3 draws, 48 wins by KO. Of those 39 victories, Anthony Joshua scored 17 KOs. I really disagree with that, quite frankly, because of the two of them, I think even though they had similar records, Iwabuchi ended with 20-0, 15 KOs. Joshua is 19-0 and 19 KOs. He's proven so much more in those 19 fights than Iwabuchi did. Against Deontay Wilder, the first time they fight, Iwabuchi wins a unanimous decision, 3 scores of 116 to 111. He put Wilder down in the 11th. When they fight 100 times, Iwabuchi dominates. 68 victories, 30 defeats, and 2 draws, 57 wins by knockout. Of his 30 victories, Deontay Wilder was able to score 25 KOs. Against the other top heavyweight of today, Luis Ortiz, Iwabuchi wins a weird and lopsided unanimous decision. The scores were 113 to 112, 117 to 108, and 115 to 110, all in favor of Ike. There was a blatant headbutt in the first round from Ortiz that was ruled intentional. Ortiz lost a point. Iwabuchi bled for much of the fight. Ortiz was down in the 7th, and Ike was down in the 12th. However, when they fight 100 times, Iwabuchi dominates again. 63 victories, 28 defeats, 9 draws, 26 big wins by knockout. Of those 28 victories, Luis Ortiz scored 18 KOs. And finally, I put him in against Vladimir Klitschko because that was the guy who was the top of the game, went from his era, and we know that he's still around. When they fight the first time, Klitschko wins unanimous decision. 118 to 107, 117 to 108, and 116 to 109. Vlad put Ike down twice in the 10th and again in the 12th. When they fight 100 times, Vlad Klitschko does get the better of him. Iwabuchi wins only 26 wins, 74 defeats, no draws. He scores 21 knockouts. Vlad was able to knock him out 50 times.
Interesting that they have him so indestructible in the title bout. But great job as usual, Alex. And unfortunately, we don't have any more time here. But I did want to get your thoughts on the Errol Spence Kell Brook fight. So I'm sure you'll be able to give us a call later in the week, right? Because we are going to be breaking down the Stevenson and Fonfara fight beginning tomorrow and of course finishing later in the week on Friday. So if you got some time, give us a call and leave the beers. Don't be drinking the beers again. Yeah.
No beers. All right. Yeah, I'll give you a call on Friday. That would be great.
All right, my man. Take care.
All right, Billy C. Take care.
That's Alex Perpali doing a great job with our blast from the past as usual, because he always does. And you can catch more of Alex on Friday. Listen, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, Sal Rocky Senacola will be back. I got an email to read. We got some other news to talk about. All of that is coming up in about 2 minutes.
Billy C. will be right back. Part of the Billy C. Boxing Network.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And we want to welcome the Facebook Live audience. We're experimenting with simulcasting on Facebook. Don't forget, you can get the full video, the same version of the show that we put out on the television networks, on our YouTube channel. And so if you just go to youtube.com/talkin, TALKIN, boxing, BOXING, you will see a lot more than what you're seeing on Facebook right now. But we hope to change all of that. And speaking of changing, I'm going to be down in St. Simons. I want to give a plug for the Sea Palms Resort. The week of June 12th, I'm going to be there. Sal and I are filming a couple of pilots. That's all I can tell you, because we've got a lot of really, really good stuff in the works for this show and beyond, all coming up, and it's going to be rapid fire. And we're doing that, and would like, if you got some time, come on down to St. Simon's during that week. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria is a great place for us to hang out, eat some great food, and get to meet Sal and all the great waiters and waitresses that Sal has at his restaurant. But the best part is the food and the bathroom. So, really save up, what, and use his bathroom. Joining us right now is my man, Sal, Rocky Santa Claus. I say that because you know how when people are traveling.
What's with the bathroom? I mean, hey.
When people travel, it's always like, can't we just find a decent bathroom? I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, yeah, go to Sal's, man. Go to Sal's, But,
people off the street from you doing that, saying, "Hey, I hear you got a good bathroom, man." Absolutely, walk this way.
Yeah, walk this way. What, like this? No. Hey, I'm seeing this kind of bright thing out there. What is that? I haven't seen nothing of that in a while. But anyway, yeah, I know you got it. But we got an email to read. This is from my man Jesse Sal. He says, "Hey Billy C, good win for Errol Spence Jr., but he did get hit hard with some shots, and credit to his chin. But I don't think he's ready for Keith Thurman next. Much rather see him against Jose Benavidez Jr., Vargas, Granados, Broner, or Peterson, but I don't think he's ready for Thurman, Garcia, or Porter. He must throw more punches per round, about 80 per round, and Brook almost pulled a Chavez by being a punching bag. He would land Spence, but then back out. He's saying Spence would land, but then back out. He must also throw more punches. Kell Brook probably should retire." Normally I agree with Jesse, Sal, but I disagree with him 100%. First and foremost, in my opinion, and this is the problem with the sport today, Sal. My opinion, and I think you share it. Once you become a champion, there's no more, let's step him up, let's get him fight this guy. The time to step up and get better and climb the ladder, so to speak, is before you win the belt. Now he's got a belt. Now he's got to go after the top guys in the division. The Danny Garcias, the Sean Porters, and, of course, Keith Thurman. What's your thoughts, Sal, Rocky Santa Cola?
Yes, I disagree with the email, and I'll tell you why. Let's say he's going to face Keith Thurman. All right, guess what? He goes into camp. He knows what he has to do. First of all, it's not going to happen within 6 months, 4 months, 6 months. Who knows? And the bottom line is he's got plenty of time to work on things and take any deficit he may have, make it and negate it and make it a positive. And he can do those things. And you're a world-class fighter. You go to camp and you work on these things. You work on your conditioning. You work on your punch output. You work on your defense. And you work on styles that are going to mimic the Keith Thurman or whatever opponent you're going to fight, his style. And you rise to the occasion. That's why you're a world champion. You could change. You could become a chameleon. You could do what you got to do. Your style is your style, your core style, but you're able to have the innate ability to overcome and adopt and challenge yourself to take on any other style that there is. That's my thought.
Yeah, normally I agree with a lot of stuff with Jesse, but it's here.
It wasn't totally off balance. It wasn't out of the ballpark. But no, he's a champion. And guess what? He's able to face any world-class fighter out there today. He's just got to study his opponent. He's got to learn what he's got to overcome and negate and do what he's got to do to win that fight and prepare himself mentally and physically, and he should be able to fight any fighter in the world today.
I think Spence is a special fighter. He is going to get better. He's going to learn. But, you can't be – you're not developing him. We all saw what happened. Andre Berto was a champ like that. But anyway, he says, I'd like to see Groves versus Gilberto Ramirez, James DeGale, Chris Eubank Jr., or maybe Callum Smith next. I'd prefer to see Gilberto Ramirez. I think any one of those fights would be good for Groves. He is a champion, and most of his fights will be in England, so I agree there. He says, Billy, what's your thoughts on Armando Pena and Ryan Ford? Well, Armando Pena, he's a 26-year-old cruiserweight. He's 14-0 with 10 knockouts. He's ranked at number 127 in the world by the computer. What do I think of him? Well, I'll just say this. He's got 14 wins. Only 2 of those 14 wins, the fighters had winning records. One of those winning records was a 1-0 fighter, which he fought in his third fight. and the other was 25-16, in which he fought in his ninth fight. This is a guy that has not fought anybody really to even suggest he's going to be something. The other thing I notice is that he seems to go back and forth between the light heavyweight division and the minimal side of the cruiserweight division, although the lightest he's ever weighed for a fight was 172.5, and the heaviest was 201, which actually is a heavyweight. So, truthfully, I think he needs to, if he's going to stay at cruiserweight, he needs to come in the ring in the 190s. A cruiserweight has to come in at the 190s. He is young enough, but he definitely needs to start stepping it up. As far as Ryan Ford goes, he's a light heavyweight, 35 years old, 12-0 with 7 knockouts. He's ranked number 42. He has been in there with some pretty decent opponents, especially his last 3, winning all 3, 2 by stoppage and 1 by a technical decision. Personally, no disrespect to him. He's in good shape. He seems dedicated. But the thing about him that I think is that this is a guy, especially at his age, that they're building up, and they're trying to get him what I would call a payout fight. Maybe they position him where he falls right under a ranking where he's eligible to be a shot at a world title or something like that, and a champion picks him to fulfill their requirements to keep their title. He'll have an impressive-looking record. He'll look good in the ring physically, and he'll be a tough out, but it will be just that. He'll get out, and that'll be the end. That's what I think about him. But how about this, Sal?
Go ahead.
How about we jump a little bit out of the realm here for a second? In the sports world, all right, ESPN just put out their top 100 worldwide recognizable sports figures, all right? And the number 1 guy, Sal Rocky Senecola. I couldn't believe it when
I thought I'd make that list finally.
No, no. Unfortunately, my man, you were not number 1. But I got to admit, I never even heard. No, you're not. You didn't make the list. But anyway, truthfully, the number 1 guy. I got to be honest, and I hope you guys don't laugh at me too much. But I never heard of the guy. Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a soccer star. Did you ever hear of him?
Yes.
Oh, for real?
He's a great soccer star.
Yeah, well, I never heard of him.
I got my young son. He plays soccer, so I'm looking at all the soccer players that he follows, and yeah, he's a great soccer player.
Ronaldo's one of them. Well, he's number 1. Number 2, LeBron James.
Another soccer star.
No, he plays hockey, doesn't he? No, but
I don't know.
LeBron James is going to be in action tomorrow night, boys and girls. So we'll see if they can do a repeat of the NBA championship. But he's number 1. LeBron James number 2. Tiger Woods, the guy with a record now. He's in the top 10. He's number 10. And just to give you some other names, number 11, Steph Curry. Number 19, Serena Williams. Number 21, Tom Brady. And Eli Manning. This shocked the hell out of me, Sal. Eli Manning of the New York Giants. A guy that you could argue doesn't have much of a personality, right? He's number 60 of the most recognizable people in the world, not just the United States. I'm talking about in the world.
That's the key word you're saying, recognizable. And when you come out of a sports franchise out in the New York tri-state area, you're pretty much pasted on the news media pages and everything else, and you're highlighted. And a lot has to be said for that, and because the spotlights are on you. So he is a recognizable figure. If he walks into Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Well, the thing is, you know how people
he'll look at my Phil Simms jersey hanging up on my,
you know how people wouldn't recognize Eli Manning
if he took his helmet off.
No, if he smiled. Because nobody's ever seen him smile. He wasn't even smiling when his brother won the Super Bowl. But anyway, so the big question is, are there any boxers on this list? Well, there's a couple of MMA people. Ronda Rousey's number 16. Conor McGregor falls in at number 5 out of the top 100. And Manny Pacquiao comes in at number 59, actually one spot. This shocked me. I mean, more people know who Manny Pacquiao is, I thought, but he comes in one slot above Eli Manning at number 59. But the best part of this, in my opinion, the best part of this ESPN top 100 worldwide most recognizable sports figures, and this is only recognized, has nothing to do with anything else, no achievements, no nothing. Floyd Mayweather is not on the list. I found that, I mean, as much as I am not a fan of Floyd.
Really?
I found that, I kind of found that strange. I mean, whether you like him or not, everybody knows who he is, I thought. He's not even on the top 100. What do you think of that?
Wow. Well, I don't know. Well, you're talking about worldwide recognition versus, just boxing fans, the boxing world. And maybe he's not been on the world stage for every fan for him to, of late, because we haven't really seen him on a world stage since Pacquiao.
Well, but I tell you, with all the people that I talk to on a regular basis, Floyd Mayweather's name always gets brought up. I mean, he's a guy that even people that aren't into boxing anymore know who Floyd Mayweather is. So I was shocked that he didn't fall in at number 100. I really am. I mean, all kidding aside, I mean, everybody knows, anybody that's watched this show knows I'm not a fan of Floyd at all. But I am shocked that he's not on the most recognized top 100. I mean, some of the names that were on here, I mean, like number one, I'm not a big soccer fan, so I never even heard of him. But, hey, we got the trivia question here, Sal.
All right.
And,
I can't wait. I'm ready. Go ahead.
I had given the answer of one. So this is another one that we've put out there. And I got a lot of really good answers, but none correct. So today we did our Blast from the Past, and Alex always does the simulation with the Title Bout Championship computer game. So I thought that a great prize would be your very own copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game if you can answer this question correctly. And you have to email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. And by the way, I'm giving one prize out, so you got to be the first one to email me correctly. Here's the question. Name the only retired heavyweight champions that beat every fighter they faced. Name the only retired heavyweight champions that beat every fighter they faced. If you're the first one to get this answer correctly by emailing me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, you'll win your very own copy of Title Bout. But no, wait, there's more. Because if Sal Rocky Senecola can answer this question correctly right now, we will move on to it. He's not winning no prizes, but we can move on to another question. So, Sal, I ask you, can you save the listeners? The question is, name the only retired heavyweight champions that beat every fighter they faced. Sal, do you have an answer?
Yeah.
What is it?
Jack Dempsey?
No.
Jack Dempsey.
Jack Dempsey is not correct, Sal. As a matter of fact, he did not beat Gene Tunney. And
no, but that wasn't
so he's not. That's not. So the question is still live. Sal failed you guys. Here's the question: name the only retired heavyweight champions that beat every fighter they faced. If you're the first one to email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, you will win the prize. Hey, it's that time again. Listen, don't forget to tune in tomorrow because we got a busy show. Sal and I will start breaking down the Adonis Stevenson and Andres Fonfara fight. And we may even try to open up the phone lines on Friday. So make sure you tune in, for the rest of the week. So I'll leave you with this. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.